I drank my usual banana smoothie and suddenly felt a sharp pain in my knee. Alex is an active retiree whom his friends call the perpetual motion machine. He started every morning with a walk in the park, then returned home and made himself a light smoothie, a ripe banana, green tea, and a spoonful of honey. This continued for many years, until one day, after his usual breakfast, Alex climbed the stairs and felt a sharp shooting pain in his right knee. At first, he didn't think much of it. He blamed it on his long working life, his difficult past in construction, and his age, of course. But the next day, the pain returned, and in the evening, it was accompanied by a clicking sound and swelling. Everyday tasks became a challenge. Tying his shoelaces, sitting down on a chair, bending his leg. Everything caused discomfort. Alex made an appointment with a therapist. The doctor examined him, took an X-ray, and gave his conclusion. You have signs of early osteoarthritis and inflammation. You need to pay attention to your diet and exercise. The doctor asked about his diet and talked about foods that could exacerbate inflammation in the joints. These included milk with bananas and red wine with banana desserts. Alex was surprised. He had never considered these combinations to be harmful. When he got home, he decided to investigate. He studied his habits, reread several medical articles, and realized that some food combinations that seem normal at first glance can actually contribute to the increased production of inflammatory mediators and worsen joint pain. This is especially true for people over the age of 60 who are already experiencing natural wear and tear of cartilage. This is how the idea for this video was born: to talk about 2 foods that should never be eaten with bananas after the age of 60 in order to avoid triggering pain and aggravating joint conditions. We will examine why milk and red wine in combination with bananas can increase inflammation, what biochemical mechanisms underlie this process, and who is at risk. But first, let's talk a little about how joints work in people over 60. What cartilage tissue is made of, what role synovial fluid and calcium play, and why the risk of inflammation inevitably increases with age. In the next part, we will take a detailed look at the physiology of joints after the age of 60 and understand what happens inside when we combine familiar foods without suspecting their interaction. With age, our joints undergo natural changes associated with the wear and tear of cartilage tissue, a decrease in synovial fluid production, and a loss of collagen fiber elasticity. Cartilage tissue. Cartilage covers the ends of the bones inside the joint, ensuring smooth gliding and shock absorption. In youth, cartilage is thick, elastic, and has a high water content, up to 80%. With age, the amount of proteoglycans, molecules that retain moisture, decreases, and collagen fibers break down. Cartilage thins, cracks become more frequent, and its ability to absorb shocks decreases. Synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is the lubricant of the joint. It fills the cavity and nourishes the cartilage, reducing friction. In youth, the production of synovial fluid is stable, and its composition is rich in hyaluronic acid. After the age of 60, the rate of renewal decreases, and the fluid becomes more viscous and less nutritious for the cartilage. This increases wear and tear and increases friction during movement. Collagen fibers. Collagen provides strength and elasticity to ligaments and tendons. Over the years, collagen synthesis slows down, and its structure changes. The fibers become more brittle. Joints lose stability, and the risk of microtrauma increases. Inflammatory processes. Due to the thinning of the cartilage and changes in the synovium, micro cracks in the cartilage lead to fragments of cartilage entering the joint cavity. This provokes foci of inflammation. The immune system reacts to foreign particles by releasing pro-inflammatory cytokines, IL-1, TNF-alpha. Chronic inflammation causes pain, swelling, and accelerates joint destruction. The role of calcium and mineralization. Excess calcium in the tissues surrounding the joint leads to the formation of deposits called bone spurs, osteophytes. These restrict mobility and cause additional damage to the cartilage. Mineral imbalances are often linked to diet and metabolism. Decreased muscle support. The muscles around the joint provide stability and relieve some of the load. With age, muscle mass, especially fast-twitch fibers, decreases and tone declines. Joints become more vulnerable to stress and injury. Metabolism and gout disorders of purine metabolism can lead to the deposition of uric acid crystals, known as gouty tophi. This is an additional factor in inflammation, especially in the knees and joints of the feet. Lifestyle. A sedentary lifestyle exacerbates the decline in synovial fluid production and cartilage destruction due to tissue malnutrition. Excess weight puts additional mechanical stress on the knee and hip joints. Genetic predisposition. Some people inherit a weaker collagen structure or metabolic characteristics that accelerate joint aging. Signal to take action. The first signs are slight stiffness in the morning, minor pain when climbing stairs, clicking, and periodic swelling. If these symptoms appear, it is worth paying attention to your diet and eliminating foods that can increase inflammation. Bananas are one of the most popular fruits in the world. They are available year-round, taste good, and contain important nutrients. While we are talking about the risks of combining bananas with certain foods, it is important to understand the benefits of this fruit on its own, especially for people over 60. Potassium. A key mineral for heart and muscle function. Normal potassium levels in the blood reduce the risk of arrhythmias, improve heart function, and maintain water and electrolyte balance. This is especially important in older adults, when kidney function may not be as efficient, and potassium levels can be more easily disrupted. Magnesium, a mineral involved in more than 300 biochemical reactions in the body. It helps relax muscles, reduce tension, and participate in protein synthesis. Magnesium is important for joints because it maintains normal muscle tone and prevents spasms that can increase stress on cartilage. B vitamins. Bananas are a good source of vitamin B6, pyridoxine. It is necessary for normal amino acid metabolism and the synthesis of neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, that affect mood and sleep. Healthy sleep and a stable emotional state indirectly support joint health, as stress triggers the release of inflammatory hormones. Natural sugars and fiber. Bananas contain glucose, fructose, and sucrose, which are easily digestible carbohydrates that provide quick energy without sharp insulin spikes. At the same time, bananas contain sufficient dietary fiber, about 2 grams per medium fruit. Fiber slows down the absorption of sugars, improves digestion, and helps maintain a healthy weight, which is important for reducing stress on the joints. Antioxidants. Bananas contain flavonoids and phenolic compounds that help neutralize free radicals. This reduces oxidative stress associated with damage to cartilage cells and inflammation in the joints. Folic acid. This vitamin B9 is involved in cell regeneration and DNA synthesis. It promotes tissue repair, which is important for minor cartilage and ligament injuries. Low glycemic index. Despite its sweet taste, bananas have a moderate glycemic index, around 51 to 55 depending on ripeness. This makes them a suitable snack for people with normal blood sugar levels, without the risk of sharp fluctuations in glucose. Prebiotics contains inulin-like substances, prebiotics that nourish beneficial gut flora. A healthy microbiota supports overall immunity and reduces systemic inflammation, which can lead to reduced joint inflammation. Water balance. Bananas are 75% water, Regular consumption helps maintain tissue elasticity, including joint structures, and participates in the delivery of nutrients to cartilage. Convenience and versatility. Bananas require no preparation. They can be eaten right away, taken with you on the go, blended into a smoothie, or added to your morning porridge. This accessibility increases the likelihood of regular consumption and benefits. In summary, bananas are a source of important minerals, vitamins, and natural sugars that support heart, nervous, and muscular health, as well as help control weight and reduce inflammation. However, it is precisely its combination with certain foods, which will be discussed below, that can lead to undesirable reactions in the joints of people over the age of 60. In the next section, we will look at the first food that should never be eaten with bananas, why milk, or yogurt, becomes an unsafe partner in this context, and how this affects the joints. Bananas and milk are a familiar combination for many breakfasts and smoothies. But this duo has a hidden side, especially for people over 60. Let's take a look at what reactions are triggered by the simultaneous consumption of bananas and dairy products, and why this can exacerbate joint inflammation. Protein load on digestion. Milk and yogurt are rich in casein, the main protein in milk. Casein is absorbed more slowly than whey proteins and requires active digestive enzymes. When you eat a banana, which contains a carbohydrate charge and milk protein at the same time, your body is forced to switch between different enzyme systems: amylolytic for fructose and lipolytic, proteolytic for milk protein. This switch slows down digestion and promotes stagnation and fermentation in the intestines. As a result, toxic metabolites are formed, which are absorbed, causing mild intoxication of the body and contributing to systemic inflammation. Calcium and oxalates. Bananas contain oxalic acid, which interacts with calcium in milk to form insoluble compounds called calcium oxalates. These can be deposited in soft tissues, including joint structures. The appearance of small oxalate crystals in the joint area stimulates macrophages and other immune cells to release pro-inflammatory cytokines: interleukin-1, tumor necrosis factor alpha. These cytokines increase pain and swelling, and over time can accelerate cartilage destruction. Increased production of pro-inflammatory mediators. The intestinal microflora in mature individuals is often altered. There is a decrease in the number of beneficial bacteria and an increase in conditionally pathogenic strains. Digestive stagnation caused by the heavy combination of bananas and milk proteins exacerbates dysbiosis. This leads to the release of endotoxins, lipopolysaccharides, from the intestinal wall into the blood. Endotoxins activate the innate immune system, which leads to the additional production of pro-inflammatory mediators that affect the joints. Acidification of the environment. Yogurt, especially natural yogurt, contains lactic acid, while bananas contain fruit acids and phenolic compounds. Together, they create an acidic environment in the stomach and small intestine. In older people, the ability to buffer pH decreases, and excess acidity damages the mucous membrane and can also interfere with the absorption of magnesium and potassium, minerals that are essential for the functioning of joints and muscles. Increased stress on the kidneys. Calcium from dairy products and oxalic acid salts put extra stress on the kidneys. In older adults, kidney filtration is already reduced, and an excess of these compounds can lead to mild intoxication, water retention, and high blood pressure. All of this indirectly affects the joints. Swelling and impaired microcirculation lead to poor cartilage nutrition. Practical recommendations: do not combine bananas and milk yogurt in the same meal. If you want to include both in your diet, separate them in time. Eat a banana on an empty stomach or 20 to 30 minutes before a dairy breakfast. Instead of milk, Use plant-based alternatives, almond, oat, or soy milk, which do not contain casein and have less calcium, which forms oxalates. Prepare a banana smoothie with water, green tea, or coconut water, and save dairy products for a separate meal with light, unsweetened porridge. Understanding how foods interact is the first step to avoiding unnecessary discomfort and joint pain. The combination of a banana and a glass of red wine seems harmless, fruity sweetness and a slight bitterness. However, this duo has hidden risks for the joints, especially after the age of 60. Let's take a look at the main mechanisms by which tannins and natural sugars can increase inflammation. Tannins and polyphenols. Red wine is rich in tannins and polyphenolic compounds, which are powerful antioxidants. In small doses, they are beneficial, but when combined with banana enzymes and fruit acids, they can form poorly soluble complexes. These complexes enter the bloodstream and settle in the microvessels of the joint, creating microfoci of irritation that trigger a local inflammatory response. Free radicals. During wine fermentation, byproducts such as acetaldehyde and peroxides are formed. Under normal conditions, the body copes with them using antioxidant systems, but in combination with banana sugar, the load on enzymes, glutathione peroxidase, catalase, increases. As a result, the balance between free radicals and antioxidants is disrupted, and oxidative stress exacerbates inflammation in the joints. Carbohydrate-load bananas contain easily digestible sugars, while wine contains residual grape sugars and alcohol. Together, they create a significant carbohydrate load, leading to insulin spikes and increased production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, especially IL-6. These cytokines increase the permeability of synovial vessels and cause pain and swelling. Enzymatic competition. Different sets of enzymes are required to break down wine and bananas. Alcohol-degrading enzymes for alcohol and amylolytic enzymes for fruit sugars. Simultaneous loading hinders processing, leading to the retention of food particles in the intestine, which enhances microbial fermentation and the toxicity of the metabolites produced. Once in the blood, they stimulate systemic inflammation. Dehydration and viscosity of synovial alcohol has a diuretic effect, which leads to mild dehydration. When there is a lack of moisture, synovial fluid becomes more viscous, lubricates the joint less effectively, friction increases, and cartilage wear intensifies. At the same time, bananas stimulate water retention due to potassium, creating an internal imbalance and increasing swelling in the soft tissues around the joint. Practical recommendations: never drink red wine with bananas. If you want a glass of wine, wait at least an hour after eating a banana. Replace red wine with a light white or rosé with low tannin content, or with a non-alcoholic option. Instead of grapes, eat unsweetened berries, blueberries, raspberries, with bananas. Their polyphenols are milder. Understanding these mechanisms will help you avoid putting unnecessary strain on your joints and maintain comfortable movement. It is one thing to talk about each product separately, but it is quite another to understand why their combination leads to increased inflammation. In this section, we will tie together the mechanisms described above and show what general reactions are triggered in the body. Competition for enzyme resources. The body requires different enzymes to process bananas and milk or wine components. Amylase for sugars, proteases for proteins, and alcohol dehydrogenase for alcohols. When all these substrates are present at the same time, the enzyme systems become overloaded, which slows down the metabolism of each component. Incompletely broken down molecules cause stagnation in the intestines, enhance the growth of conditionally pathogenic microflora, and increase the permeability of the walls through which toxic metabolites enter the bloodstream. Increased systemic inflammation toxins, and incomplete breakdown products activate the immunocytokine network. Monocytes and macrophages release IL-1, IL-6, and TNF-alpha. These cytokines enhance the synthesis of prostaglandins, which increase the sensitivity of pain receptors in the joints and cause swelling. Crystal formation in synovial fluid. Under conditions of elevated concentrations of calcium, oxalic acid from bananas, and calcium oxalate reaction products, crystal fragments settle in the synovial cavity. These microcrystals mechanically irritate the synovium, causing local inflammation with pain. Water imbalance. Alcohol and diuretic components, such as wine, flush out water, while potassium from bananas can retain fluid. As a result, synovial fluid either thickens, water deficiency, or accumulates outside the joint. Edema, which reduces the quality of lubrication and increases friction between joint surfaces. Acidosis and buffer deficiency. The combined consumption of acidic components, yogurt, wine, bananas, creates excess acidity. With reduced buffering capacity of the blood and tissues, age-related decrease in bicarbonate buffer reserve. This leads to chronic low-intensity acidosis, which further activates enzymes that destroy collagen and proteoglycans in cartilage. Reduced regeneration. Under the influence of pro-inflammatory cytokines and oxidative stress, the synthesis of collagen and hyaluronic acid, key components of cartilage and synovia, slows down. This creates a vicious circle. More inflammation, less regeneration, even more inflammation. Practical. Avoid complex breakfasts and snacks that contain bananas, dairy products, and alcohol at the same time. If the combination is unavoidable, e.g., toast with banana and cheese and a glass of wine in the evening, separate them by at least 2 to 3 hours. Include foods that support buffer systems in your diet. Nuts, greens, vegetables high in magnesium and calcium in an absorbable form. Understanding these complex but logical interactions helps you build a diet where bananas remain a healthy bonus rather than a trigger for joint pain. Although the mechanisms described above apply to everyone, they pose the greatest risk to certain groups of people over the age of 60. If you fall into one of these categories, pay particular attention to the combinations in your diet. People with early osteoarthritis, with existing signs of cartilage wear, pinching, cracks, thinning. Even a slight increase in inflammation leads to a sharp exacerbation of pain and limited mobility. The combination of bananas with milk or wine acts as a final push to the inflammatory response. Patients with rheumatoid arthritis. This autoimmune disease is characterized by severe inflammation of the synovium. Additional nutritional material for inflammation, casein, oxalates, tannins, enhances the immune response, which manifests itself in increased swelling, stiffness, and pain. People prone to gout, with elevated uric acid levels, any additional joint irritation can lead to crystal deposition and an acute gout attack. Banana sugars and their interaction with proteins tannins accelerate purine metabolism, increasing the risk of exacerbation. People with chronic renal failure. Due to reduced kidney filtration function, the body is unable to remove excess calcium, oxalates, and toxic metabolites. This creates a background of mild intoxication and increased permeability of the synovial vessels. Patients with hypothyroidism. A slow metabolism slows down the body's detoxification and tissue regeneration. Toxic metabolites and pro-inflammatory cytokines circulate longer, which worsens the condition of the joints. People with digestive disorders and dysbiosis. When the ratio of beneficial and conditionally pathogenic bacteria is poor, fermentation and putrefaction processes intensify. This leads to increased formation of endotoxins, which enter the bloodstream and trigger systemic inflammation. People prone to allergic reactions, allergens in milk or grapes, hidden proteins, salicylates, can intensify the immune response. When combined with bananas, they increase histamine production, which further stimulates inflammation. Recommendations for the risk group. If in doubt, separate meals. Allow at least 3 hours between bananas and milk or wine. Keep a food and wellness diary. Record moments of pain and possible triggers. Consult your doctor, and if necessary, get tested for uric acid, oxalic acid, and inflammation markers. Choose safe alternatives from the next section. If you love bananas but are wary of combining them with milk and wine, there are options that will preserve the benefits and reduce the risk of flare-ups. Banana with plant-based milk. Almond, oat, and soy milk do not contain casein and have a lighter protein profile. They do not form oxalate compounds with bananas, so they do not cause crystal deposits. For a pleasant taste, add a pinch of cinnamon or vanilla to your smoothie for flavor. Banana with green tea. Green tea is rich in catechins, which are antioxidants, but does not contain tannins in the same quantities as red wine. Tea improves metabolism, maintains hydration, and does not overload the enzyme systems. Idea: a smoothie made from banana and chilled green tea with ice. Banana with lactose-free kefir. Lactose-free kefir is easier to digest and contains probiotics that support the microflora. There is not enough oxalic acid in bananas to form significant oxalate deposits with this combination. It is important to choose a low-fat option without additives. Banana with berries. Blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries contain antioxidants, but do not cause the same reactions as milk or wine. Berries improve the taste and add vitamins without putting strain on the joints. Recipe: banana and berry smoothie with water or coconut water. Banana with nut butter, almond or peanut butter. Add healthy fats and proteins without creating complex protein-carbohydrate conflicts. Nuts contain magnesium and vitamin E, which support joint health. Recommendation: 1 tablespoon of butter per banana. Banana with quinoa or oatmeal. Grains with a low glycemic index provide more fiber and slow-burning carbohydrates, distributing energy and preventing insulin spikes. Oatmeal is rich in beta-glucans, which support the immune system and reduce inflammation. Breakfast: a serving of oatmeal with banana slices. Banana with freshly squeezed vegetable juice. Carrot, cucumber, or celery juice adds vitamins and minerals without the risk of calcium or tannin reactions. Vegetable juices support hydration and microcirculation. Recipe: banana plus carrot plus a little ginger. Banana with Greek yogurt, no additives. If you really want a dairy product, choose Greek yogurt with reduced whey protein content and add a banana separately. For example, first the banana, then the yogurt, 20 to 30 minutes later. This way, you'll get probiotics and minimize the risk of reactions. Banana with herbal tea. Chamomile, mint, or rosehip are light drinks that soothe and do not burden digestion. The perfect option for lazy people. Tea plus banana as a snack. Banana with lemon water. A simple method: a glass of warm water with a slice of lemon before or after a banana. Lemon supports drainage, improves potassium absorption, and does not contain substances that are harmful to the joints. By choosing safe alternatives, you retain the benefits of bananas, potassium, magnesium, vitamins, and minimize the risk of joint pain. To avoid unwanted reactions and retain the benefits of bananas and related foods, it is important to follow a few simple but effective dietary guidelines. These rules will help you plan your diet so that your joints do not suffer from inflammation. Separate meals. Do not combine potentially conflicting foods in the same meal. If you have eaten a banana, wait at least 2 to 3 hours before drinking milk or a glass of wine. Similarly, after a dairy breakfast with yogurt or a smoothie with nut butter, wait at least 2 hours before eating a banana. The one main food principle. For each meal, choose one key food that can affect your joints. Banana, milk, wine. The rest of your plate should consist of neutral foods, vegetables, boiled, baked, fresh salads, green leafy vegetables, lean proteins, fish, chicken, legumes, whole grain, cereals, and bread. Macronutrient balance. Each meal should contain protein, 20 to 30 grams, fish, turkey, legumes, plant-based dairy products, fats, 10 to 15 grams, olive or flaxseed oil, nuts, seeds, carbohydrates, 30 to 50 grams, complex, oats, quinoa, vegetables, simple. Banana as a dessert, but without conflicting combinations. Consider the time of day morning. It is best to eat a banana on an empty stomach or with a neutral liquid, water, herbal tea. Day. The main meal should be balanced in all macronutrients. A banana can be included as a snack, but not with milk or wine. Evening. Limit carbohydrates and fats. Avoid bananas after 6 p.m., especially if you plan to drink wine. The first taste rule. Foods eaten at the beginning of a meal have the greatest effect on digestion. Eat a banana first, then move on to the rest of your meal 20 to 30 minutes later, or vice versa. Eat the main course first, then have a banana half an hour later. Control the texture. The digestive system finds it easier to cope with foods of different textures when they are eaten separately. Avoid mixing solid foods, nut butter, grains, and liquid foods, yogurt, juice, in the same smoothie with a banana. If you make smoothies, use only neutral liquids, water, plant-based milk, tea, and add nuts separately. Dosage and frequency. Banana. No more than 1 medium fruit per day. Dairy products. 200 to 250 milliliters of yogurt or kefir per serving, but not together with a banana. Alcohol. 1 glass of wine, 150 milliliters. No more than twice a week, not together with a banana. Hydration. Maintain water balance. At least 1.5 to 2 liters of clean water per day. Before and after eating a banana, drink a glass of water or non-carbonated mineral water. Focus on naturalness. Choose unprocessed foods, fresh bananas, homemade yogurt without additives, natural wine without flavor enhancers. Avoid concentrates, ready-made mixes, and sweet drinks with bananas. Food diary. Write down what and when you eat, as well as how you feel throughout the day. This will help you identify individual triggers and adjust your diet. These rules are simple but effective. They will allow you to enjoy the taste of bananas and other favorite foods while maintaining joint health and overall well-being. We have come to the final section, a simple and effective 7-day plan. Its goal is to preserve the benefits of bananas while eliminating the risk of joint pain flare-ups. Each day includes 3 main meals and 2 snacks, taking into account the compatibility rules. Monday. In the morning, on an empty stomach, a glass of warm water with a slice of lemon. Then 10 minutes later, oatmeal cooked in water with a handful of fresh berries. Morning snack. 1 medium banana. Lunch. Steamed chicken breast, cucumber and tomato salad with olive oil, a slice of rye bread. Evening snack. A handful of almonds. Dinner. Baked fish with herbs and stewed zucchini. Tuesday. In the morning, herbal tea, chamomile or mint, and scrambled eggs with spinach. Snack. freshly squeezed carrot and ginger juice. Lunch, turkey filet stewed with eggplant, a serving of quinoa. In the evening, low-fat, lactose-free kefir. Dinner, cottage cheese with herbs and a slice of cucumber. Wednesday, start the day with a glass of water and buckwheat porridge with berries. Morning snack, banana with a spoonful of almond butter. Lunch, light broccoli puree soup, carrot and apple salad. In the evening, a handful of walnuts. Dinner, turkey baked with mushrooms and asparagus spears. Thursday morning, green tea and whole grain toast with avocado spread. Snack, fresh berries, blueberries or raspberries. Lunch, beef stew with paprika, cabbage salad with seaweed. Evening, a glass of lactose-free kefir. Dinner, baked beetroot with goat cheese and chopped nuts. Friday, early morning, a glass of water with lemon and oatmeal with banana slices. No milk. Snack, carrot and celery juice. Lunch, salmon steak, quinoa with dill and parsley, spinach salad. In the evening, a handful of pistachios. Dinner, baked pumpkin with low-fat yogurt, 2 hours after the banana. Saturday, in the morning, herbal tea and smoothie, banana plus green tea. Without milk. Snack, berries. Lunch, chicken salad with chickpeas and fresh vegetables. In the evening, banana separately, no earlier than 2 hours later. Dinner, turkey steak with steamed broccoli. Sunday, start the day with a glass of water and oatmeal with nut butter. Morning snack, banana. Lunch, turkey meatballs with vegetable stew. In the evening, a handful of almonds. Dinner, light vegetable soup and a slice of whole grain bread. Important, wait at least 2 hours between eating a banana and any dairy product. If you want a glass of wine, white or rosé, drink it no earlier than 3 hours after dinner, but not with a banana. Drink at least 1.5